when the dollar really starts losing value for consumer goods versus consumer goods, then everyone with dollars abroad will sell them for whatever they can get, and eventually they'll all come back to the States, and then they'll be worth nothing. And then they'll have to repeg it to gold, or find the ratio and move back.
We know that if you go back to 1944, all the fiat currencies now are kind of a derivative of the dollar, and they all hold dollar reserves. So if the dollar goes, don't be fooled into thinking that the pound or the euro or any other currency will do well, because as we saw earlier, I showed the charts, they're all dropping versus gold. So that's the way I see it.
Stocks went up because there was a positive jobs report.
Yeah, and also how hard gold and silver were hit at one point. I don't think it necessitated. I thought it was a bit overdone.
Yeah, it looked extreme, but it also the miners came out pretty strong for the day.
Yeah, my mining shares that I own, actually my portfolio, it actually finished up on the day.
Oh, really? Yeah, some of them went up. So
yeah,
I've seen that kind of move before, where gold is smashed early in the pre-market, and the mining stocks are not as affected.
Yeah.
You had a divergence for the day, so that's kind of what happened here. You don't want to go all in on miners for this reason. It is a speculation. Even if silver and gold do what we think they're going to do, it doesn't necessarily mean that every miner is going to benefit. But I think a basket of different miners in different countries and different sizes. Well, I also am nervous holding physical gold and silver to a point, because it could get stolen. I mean, I can't stop that from happening completely either. So look, it depends really on your comfort level and your emotion level and what you want to accomplish in this end game. For me, I don't need more than 20-30% in bullion, because like I'm not looking to like stack so I can buy the entire country. And I don't want to hold that much. It makes me nervous. So I'd rather have some in a brokerage account where I don't have to worry about being stolen. I do have to worry about that being stolen by a government in a different way. So it depends how you can sleep best at night. And that's a different answer for everybody, and everyone's a different person.
That's right. I agree. And the other thing, it's not just all about the money and the gold. In these times, I think also being looking after your family, being nice to your like friends and neighbors is a good thing as well, because I think things could get quite, things are going to get disrupted. We already saw what they did in 2020 to 2022. So that's what I would say.
Who's that quote? You just quoted somebody who said the last thing you want to give up is your gold and silver.
Yeah.
Well, again, that depends on how much of it you have. If you have a lot of it, and your marginal cost of getting rid of one, or your marginal utility from your next silver coin is very low because you happen to have so much silver because you're a stacker, then maybe it's the first thing you want to give up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But that's the imbalance you want. You want it to be the first thing that you want to give up, and versus the first thing that people want in exchange for whatever they can give you.
Yeah.
So for an average person who has like maybe some silverware and a few like numismatic coins of, silver dollar or something you got when you was a kid, then you want those kinds of people are going to want to preserve that little silver that they have. But if you're a stacker and you got plenty, use it. Why not spend it?
Yeah.
The only reason that the dollar exists abroad is because it is used at home. I mean, that's the logical progression. It wouldn't have become the reserve currency if it wasn't first used domestically. Look, the reason that countries still hold the dollar is, for that reason. I mean, that's what I just said. So, look, you can't have a currency collapsing from abroad. It always has to collapse at home first. And then from there you can argue, is it chicken and egg, is it a dance? Like, they feed on each other, yeah, but it always starts in the home market. The 1923 inflation stories that I've read, they would look at the exchange rate between the dollar and the mark every day, and then from there they would set their prices. So prices were set by the international exchange rate, which is set from the prices in consumer goods and inflation rate at that day, and then they just started following each other and then spiraling down together in a tailspin. So then it can look like foreigners crash your currency, but really it starts at home. About euro dollars abroad, that's just dollars that are outside the U.S. banking
Yeah,
system.
I know. I don't know. It seems to be
Mm.
people think that's something that I don't know why they make such a big deal out of it, but that's all the dollars that have flowed out because there's no more, the reason there's so many dollars abroad is that when Nixon closed the gold window, you couldn't get your gold anymore. So you have to hold paper. And it's just a reflection of all the current account deficit that the US has run up. And that's the problem with the fiat currency, major current fiat currency as a reserve currency. There's no way to settle debt. There's no payment. Yeah, and that's what the euro dollar is. It's just a lot of foreigners holding dollars abroad. Yeah, and those dollars, the euro dollars, if there is a problem in the next month or so, a lot of those could flow back into the US.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, they're all going to come back into the U.S. eventually. It just depends who starts the march.
Yeah, I mean, even there might be a little bit left. I mean, even the pound, I think people is still like 3 to 5% of global foreign exchange reserves. So, but it could be different because the pound at least actually didn't have any gold backing in 1954 when it really collapsed.
This is more futuristic, trying to imagine what the world's going to look like after the end game. And a lot of people think there's going to be a power shift from the West to the East to China. I don't see that. For the logical reason is that China participates in the Keynesian system, right? They're a part of it, and they've got the short end of the stick because they got to provide the stuff, and all the U.S. has to do is provide the paper. So when this system falls, the East falls with it. I think everything falls. I mean, once the Roman Empire collapsed, there was no replacement. There was no competing power that took it over. It just disintegrated, and that was it.